What do you see when you look out your window? Skyscraper? Suburb? Freeway? Grocery store? An apartment complex?
Well, unless you live on a farm or ranch, you probably don't see much wildlife near your home besides a few birds and some squirrels. Well, and it's hard to imagine what your neighborhood was like before it was covered with buildings, streets, and sidewalks.
Now, you might think that Kenya, in Africa, is one of the last places on Earth where urban development is a problem. After all, it's famous for its exotic wildlife and open spaces, but the country's human population is growing.
Urban development in Nairobi, Kenya's capital, is leaving less room for its famous wildlife park. As CNN reports, the Nairobi National Park, created in 1946, is now in danger.
Nairobi is a modern city of 2 million people, but only a few miles from the city center, Nairobi National Park provides a 44-square-mile sanctuary for wildlife. Except for elephants, just about every kind of wild animal native to East Africa can be found in the grassy plains, river valleys, and woodlands of this park. The animals have always been here. The park was created in 1946 to protect the wildlife from an expanding urban population. It's now a major tourist attraction. But in the past few years, the city of Nairobi has grown to the very edge of the park.
There's a new housing estate that's coming up just next to the fence, the park boundary.
Also on the boundaries, new factories producing chemical waste and increasing pollution of the park's water supplies. Although wildlife officials say they're not yet seriously worried.
The factory development that we're seeing is more of an aesthetic problem than a pollutant problem.
So far, there's no evidence the crowding and pollution on the park's boundaries have affected the wildlife here. The real threat to Nairobi National Park is not pollution from factories and housing developments, but the possibility that the park may soon be completely surrounded by fences. The park is already fenced on the east, north, and west. The south side is unfenced, allowing migrating animals such as zebra and wildebeest to move freely in and out of the park. They follow a corridor inhabited by the nomadic Maasai tribe, who have always coexisted with wildlife. But now the Maasai are selling their land, and the new owners are building permanent homes and fences to keep wild animals out.
As you can see, there's a new fence here, and this fence will stop animals on their free migration into the park. And they will just walk along the fence until they find another place to cross.
Further development here will eventually block the migration corridor. That is what conservationists are hoping to prevent.
The spectacle of migration that has been, so close to the people of Nairobi will have been lost.
Many people concerned with the future of this park now recognize that the day will come when the city of Nairobi will completely surround it.
And I think the city is unique because it's going to have a very important park right in its middle. And I think 50 years from today, Nairobi will expand around the park. But I don't think there's any doubt that the park will be there 50 years from today, and it will have wildlife living naturally.
Gary Stryker, CNN, Nairobi.
Normally, creating a park prevents any further damage to a habitat and its wildlife. But as this report shows, you can't always isolate a problem. Since Nairobi National Park is home to many migrating animals, its ecosystem extends far beyond its formal boundaries.
Traditional animal migration routes are already being interrupted by urban development. They may soon be cut off completely if fences are built around all four sides of the park.
But supporters of the park are optimistic that it will survive, even if the city eventually surrounds it.
If they're right, Nairobi National Park may become a blueprint for the successful combining of wildlife conservation and urban growth.